What's up, everybody? Welcome to PNT TV. We're coming to you live on the net at PNTTV.com. My name is Mark. And Chris, how are you, man?
How we doing, Mark? As I said
Pretty
last
good.
week, it was my summer of catching up, and I got about 95% through Uncharted 2. So I am ready to talk about Uncharted 3.
Awesome, man.
So
Yeah, well, like Chris just mentioned, coming up on the show this week, we will be previewing Uncharted 3. And later on the show, we got a question from you, our viewers, regarding indie games.
Yeah.
So, Chris, let's jump into it here. Uncharted 3, of course, it's coming from Naughty Dog exclusively for the PlayStation 3. It'll be available on 11/1/11, which I think is the second best release date next to Skyrim's 11/11/11. But man,
it's still too far away.
It is. They're both too far away.
Yeah, I know.
But the multiplayer beta for Uncharted 3 has just wrapped up. And you and I have been playing it over the last couple weeks. And I got to say, man, I just love the multiplayer of this game because their ability to blend, obviously it's a shooter. I mean, Uncharted is, or the multiplayer end of it is
Right.
that, but it also adds just that whole ability to scale walls and scale buildings and all that.
Yeah.
And it blends so well into the multiplayer space. I mean, don't you think?
I do. And just finishing up or almost finishing up Uncharted 2, like I love campaigns, and I can't wait to play the campaign in Uncharted 3. And that's really what going into that. That's all I thought I was going to want to do is play the campaign for Uncharted 3.
Mm-hmm.
But dabbling in this, like I gotta say, like the multiplayer is almost getting me more excited.
I know, man.
Surprisingly, because I enjoy multiplayer. I'm not a big multiplayer guy. I enjoy it with like you guys and like friends of ours and stuff. And I'm really looking forward to some of these modes that they put in there. Like it's one of those things, like normally when I'm at home, I'm really excited. I'm thinking, and when I'm working stuff like that, I'm thinking about going home and finishing a campaign. I was thinking about coming home and playing the multiplayer in this game, which is a total change for me.
Well, man, I mean, one of the cool things that they did was they added that whole cinematic flair that Uncharted is known for to the multiplayer. I mean, there's this one map called Airstrike, and you think Team Deathmatch, which you actually didn't even get into it until I told you, go into Team Deathmatch and check it out.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a regular deathmatch.
You think Team Deathmatch is like, okay, team versus team. But the way the airstrip level starts out is there's trucks chasing a cargo plane. And one team's on the plane, one team is in the trucks. And think of like the train level in Uncharted 2 where you're jumping from train to train.
Or even the truck level. The level when you're catching up to the front of the truck.
Yeah,
convoy.
That's right. That level is also.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on the trucks, you're jumping truck to truck to truck, taking cover on the trucks, trying to jump onto the plane, and the other group is defending the plane. And then at one point, I don't know, maybe it's like 10 kills in or something. Eventually, everybody gets off the plane. It shows the plane take off. Everybody goes to where the warehouses are at the airfield, and then the battle continues.
Right.
And so that's one thing they're doing with the multiplayer this time around is adding these dynamic events. I mean, there's a whole chateau level where there's this massive building. About halfway through, the whole building just catches on fire and it's just blazing. Everybody's running out of the building, and finally the floor crashes down, and then it totally changes the map. Right. I mean, it's so neat that they're doing that, man.
It's neat. You like when companies think of different ways to bring a multiplayer, and we talked about it with Fear in Fear 3. They did it. Naughty Dog seems like they've done it with the multiplayer in Uncharted 3. They put some time and effort into it, and because they know everybody's going to buy this game, and they don't want anybody let down by any aspect of it, so they put in time and effort into their multiplayer, and it's going to be great.
And then, I mean, outside of that, obviously the campaign just...
Which I'm interested in. Like, for a game that's really reliant on cover, and you're in the desert, like, I don't know how much of the game, in Uncharted 2, you're in 1,000 different locations,
right, which I'm sure is going to be the same here.
Exactly. But for that location, I'm interested to see how they pull that off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the level that they showed at the Sony press conference at E3 this year, where you're on this boat, and he kind of goes into this cargo ship, and he gets to the bottom level, giant explosion happens, water starts gushing into the level, and you see the boat slowly flip up on its side, and water starts pouring in. And just to see the physics that they've done and him trying to escape the boat. I mean, I didn't think there was any way that they could outdo Uncharted 2. And just from watching that level alone, they may do it, man.
They might have.
You know what I mean? And I love Nathan Drake as a character. I mean, this is kind of you've just been exposed to him over the past couple weeks. I mean, what do you think of Nathan Drake as a character, man?
I love his like one. I don't know if they're one-liners. I would call they're one-liners. But how many times did he say, "Well, I didn't think that far ahead"? Like he's just instinctual. This is what's in front of me, and I have to get there. And I'm going to get there. And then when somebody asks him, well, how are you going to do it? I don't know.
He doesn't. I mean, that's why he's so great. He's just an every man's guy. You know, he's a hero, obviously, of these games, and he's through some ridiculous situations, and he always finds a way out.
Yeah.
But he's not, you know, like an Ezio in Assassin's Creed, who is just this bad, you know, assassin.
Wasn't like born into the role. Like you kind of could tell, like he's just sitting at home. He's like, I saw something on National Geographic about treasures. I think I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah, he just is a guy who's always searching for treasures that just gets thrown into these ridiculous situations. And the one thing that Naughty Dog does with him is he's constantly just commenting on what's going on. He's always talking, and you know, I mean, the motion capture for these games are fantastic. They're awesome. Second to none.
Great voiceovers.
Other than L.A. Noire, you could say they're facial animations.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a fun character to play, and honestly, they could keep coming out with these games, and I'll keep wanting to play them because I love the adventures of Nathan Drake.
They should come out with like a stand-up comedy game featuring Nathan Drake. That'd be awesome.
That'd be hilarious. So yes, definitely check out Uncharted 3. Again, we're months away still. It's not coming out until 11/1/11, but it's gonna be a great game. Get out, pre-order it now.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing some collector's editions in that, and looks to be again just another great game.
They know what they're doing. They're a great. They know what they're doing with this series. It's no doubt. It's not gonna be a letdown.
Nope. Well, Chris, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, again, we're going to be taking a question from you, our viewers, regarding indie games. So we'll be back right after this.
All right. Rated M for mature. The horror that sticks with you. Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D. In stores now.
All right, so welcome back, and as promised, we're going to take a question from you, our viewers, and this one comes to us from Brooks, and he says, "Dear Play and Trade TV, I've been enjoying the show so far, but it seems that you focus a lot on big-budget retail releases. What smaller indie games do you enjoy, and which ones are you looking forward to?" Well, I'll let you take this one, Chris.
Okay, as far as what I enjoy, for some reason I gravitate towards indie puzzle games. So two that stick out right in my head are Braid and Limbo.
Two great games, man.
Yeah, they're the same, but they're totally different. You look at them on the surface.
Oh yeah.
You look at them on the surface, and they're puzzle games. But Braid sucked me in. I went over to my friend's house, and he was playing that, and I walked in the door, and he was playing. I'm like, "What are you playing?" And the world that they created, for some reason, the music, the art style, and how difficult the game is.
It's like an old Monet painting, you know, like when you see the art style. It's so cool.
And for some reason, like the difficulty of the game intrigued me. You know, when you get these tough games, and you just want to shut them off and never go back to them, but you want to try to finish this game because there's an underlying story, which is kind of cool. But if you can beat that game without going to YouTube, you're a godsend to video games, because it's next to impossible. And same thing with
hard,
Limbo.
man.
Limbo is not as tough, but the art style of Limbo I love too.
Yeah, well, what I like about Limbo is that you never were really directed as to what to do.
No, you could sit on that when you, as soon as the game starts, you could sit on that opening sequence until you hit something on the
he just lays on the ground. He's just laying there. As soon as you move the analog stick or hit any button, his eyes open and he stands up.
And it's creepy. He's got those white eyes.
It is very creepy. Yeah, Limbo is awesome, man. That's a good choice. But then also the second part of this question, he asked, what games are we looking forward to? And the first one that pops out to me was at E3 this year. We saw it. They actually had a banner in front of the LA Convention Center.
Shocking.
And that's Bastion. You know, to see an indie game have a banner at E3 was almost mind-blowing.
It's good.
Yep. It's going from Supergiant Games. It's actually available next week as part of the XBLA Summer of Arcade, and it's an action RPG. It's over the top, but it's kind of isometric. It's kind of pulled down. But the best part of the game, Chris, is what?
Is the voiceover.
Oh,
the voiceover, as whatever you're doing in the game, he is narrating it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And his voice, if his voice was just like a basic voiceover, it didn't matter. Like the voice almost steals the show.
Oh, it totally steals the show.
They got the perfect voice to do it. I kind of likened it to What's that? Who's that old 70s
Shaft.
He's got that deep like Shaft voice, you know.
Yeah, he's always like, oh, the kid picked up his axe. Like the kid, that's his character that you're playing. You always just hear the kid did this, the kid did that, and it dynamically comments on what you're doing on screen.
And the fact that it's not premeditated, it takes into account what you're doing.
Exactly.
And voices it over. It's awesome. And that, like I said, that seals the show, but the game itself is very fun. We got hands on it, and it was enjoyable. There's the whole building up the level as you're walking.
Yeah, as you're walking, the level just falling from the sky, just falling into place.
It's just a bright, colorful game, and none of this waiting until November for any of these games I want to play.
Next week, I can't wait. And actually, at E3, I was playing it a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to play this because I don't want to like ruin the game for me because they had you playing from the beginning, and I was like, no, I'm hands off with this. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then the other game that's coming from that game company, the people who are known for Flower and Flow, is Journey. Which there actually was a beta that was out, which unfortunately I didn't get into, but I don't even really know how to explain Journey to you.
No,
you could see the art style of it. You're this character who is kind of built of cloth.
Yeah.
And you just see this mountain in the distance.
And you got to go.
And you just got to get to it.
And you're on this journey. Walk across a desert, I guess.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Limbo where they don't tell you what to do. You just kind of figure it out. But then there's also a multiplayer aspect to this game. But in that sense, you don't play with your friends. You never know who you're playing with. The person just appears in your world, and if you want to interact with them, you can.
You can. If you don't,
or you can just do your thing.
Move on. Yeah, I think that's what's intriguing about this game,
isn't it? It's like crazy.
I think the unknown about this game right now is what's intriguing to everybody.
Yeah,
they're not telling you a lot what the game's about. I've seen demos played and stuff like that, but even when they do that, they kind of just start telling you what's going on in the game. They don't tell you any backstory.
No.
They keep telling you about this that castle or something that's out in the distance, and they will not tell you why.
It's a giant mountain with a light at the top, and all your character knows is I need to get there.
And you have no idea why.
That's all you know. Yeah. And as you progress through the game, supposedly things are going to be revealed. You're going to learn more about your character, learn about why this desert is the way that it is. And I can't wait.
It's just intriguing. It's it's intriguing looking game. It's not. It seems very simplistic visually. Yep. But you know that there's something within this game that they're not telling you, that they don't want to tell you, that you're going to have to find out on your own, and it's going to be mind-blowing, I feel.
Well, there you go, Brooks. Hopefully that answers your question, and hopefully that gets people excited for these upcoming indie games. We just want to remind everybody also here before we wrap it up about the massive Christmas in July giveaway that Mass Luminosity is holding. We're giving away a massive Origin PC. This thing is super powered. We're also going to have PS3 bundles from Play and Trade with copies of Infamous 2, Sapphire's putting things up, AMD, Cooler Master, CM Storm, tons and tons of bundles. Go to massluminosity.com/Christmas. Get yourself signed up. You have until August 1st, noon Central Time, to get signed up. Time's running out.
Stupid crazy.
And awesome. Lots and lots of prizes going on right there. And as always, send us an email to play@pnttv.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/playandtradetv, or follow us on Twitter @playandtradetv. Now, Chris, next week we are going to be previewing Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Great franchise. That's one of our favorites, is it not?
Cannot wait.
That is awesome.
And again, that's another November game.
It is. Add it to the list.
Man.
Nuts.
So, all right. Well, let's wrap it up there. With that, we'll catch you next week.
And have fun.